Hey everyone, I'm Chef Lee and this is the American Range Kitchen, and today we are making, say it with me, shakshuka. This is a fantastic egg dish, originates in North Africa. Really great flavors of spicy pepper, tomato, eggs that are cracked into it, a little bit of feta on top. Fantastic, great celebration for a brunch, and we are getting started. Let's go. We're gonna start with our onion. For this recipe, I'm looking probably at half of this onion, medium size. Pretty thin slices on this. So we have our one bell pepper. It's gonna join the onion. And again, this sauce is based on, basically it's a tomato-based sauce with some pepper flavors. We're gonna add one spicy chili pepper, and you get the sweetness from the onion, sweetness from the pepper itself. That counteracts the acidity of the tomatoes. And with the peppers, and we're getting a medium dice here on the peppers. One more thing that you really want to make sure is that your eggs are at room temperature before you start. That's super crucial because once you crack them into the sauce, you want them to cook evenly, and if they're cold, it's not going to happen. So pull your eggs out as soon as you're starting this recipe. The oil is going into the pan, and in go our vegetables. So we have our onion, our bell pepper. Those are going to start caramelizing in our pan. In the meantime, a little extra flavor. I have garlic here, so I have 2 cloves of garlic. I have 1 Fresno chili pepper. So we're adding a little bit of heat in here. Crush that garlic. I'm always keeping an eye on here on my vegetables, make sure that they're not burning. I do want to get a little bit of caramelization, a little bit of color, but want to make sure that they're not really actually burning. So thin slice on the garlic. To the garlic, I'm going to add my chili pepper and another just thin slice on here too. I'm going to leave the seeds in this time because I do want to incorporate that heat. So I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit because I see that my vegetables are starting to brown, but I want it to cook down just a little bit more. I'm going in with my chili and my garlic. Give that a little toss, get it incorporated. Okay, one more thing that's gonna go in before we start adding the tomatoes is I have cilantro here. Now, the leaves of the cilantro are gentle, they're tender. I'm gonna add those at the end. But what I do wanna focus on is the stems of the cilantro, which sometimes end up in the trash. Give these a little chop here. Those are gonna go in. That way nothing goes to waste, so I'm going to use the leaves later and the stems go in early. Starting to get some nice color. All right, I'm looking at my pan here. It's looking like it's ready for the tomato sauce, and I'm going in with some just plain crushed tomatoes out of a can. Another flavor that I'm going to add here is a little bit of cumin. A little bit of cumin powder, a little bit of salt. I'm going to lower the heat, and I want this to cook down just a little bit. Flavors are going to intensify, and I also want to get rid of a little bit of the moisture from the tomatoes. So I'm going to create little craters here before I go in with the egg, and one by one, the eggs will get cracked on top. The pan this size, I'm thinking 6 eggs is plenty. Building the home for the egg here, and it goes in. One right in the middle. And that's our pan right here. I'm going to raise the heat just a little bit. Since the eggs cool down the temperature of the sauce just a little bit, I'm going to raise it and just let it be. We're having a nice bubble here for probably about 10 minutes, and I can already see that the whites are all solidified, and I want to make sure that our yolks are nice and runny. That's perfect. At this point, I'm going to turn the heat off. Because I don't want it to overcook, I'm just gonna let residual heat finish the cooking, keep it warm, and we're good to go. We can start talking about garnishes. So as always, when you're thinking about garnish, you have something that's cooked, that's heavy in flavor, and what you wanna add to it is some kick of freshness. So the garnish is always gonna be something fresh on top of something cooked. I'm gonna grab some green onion, and I'm gonna grab some cilantro. Let's get some radishes. And I still want to incorporate my goat feta here, which is going to add a little bit of tanginess, a little saltiness and richness on top. One thing about this dish, I'm not going to serve it on plates. This whole thing is going to end up on the table, and you're just going to scoop out from here. So we're going to start with our feta. I'm going to grab a block and just kind of freehand it crumbling around. That's good. Go in next with my radishes. Just, again, freehand, let them fall wherever they may. And finish up with my greens. There you go. That's a nice color combination. I mean, it's fragrant. That residual heat is hitting the herbs that are nice and gentle, but it gives that flavor, gives the essence of it. I'm going to finish with a little drizzle of olive oil. And there you have it, friends. Shakshouka. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of pita bread. And I'm most likely going to burn my mouth here, but it's part of the sacrifice. My mouth is on fire both from the heat and from the temperature, but it is so, so delicious. So rich and flavorful, and the herbs add so much freshness to it. Absolutely perfect brunch dish. Super simple, super easy, but man, it is gratifying. So, so good. And ladies and gentlemen, that is shakshuka. It's probably more difficult to pronounce than it is to make. Great flavor combination with the peppers, the onions, the tomatoes, the eggs in there, a little bit of feta and the herbs. Fantastic dish for brunch, lunch, dinner, wherever you want it. It's right there. It's easy to make. Now you know how. I'm Chef Lee. This is the American Range Kitchen. I will see you here next time.